Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. I'm Moose, and today we got a knife review. And that is of this guy. This is the Boker Plus Kihon. The Boker Plus Kihon. I hope I'm saying that right. So today we have the Boker Plus Kihon. But first, if you are into knives, gear, food, or tech, I do reviews on all those products or all those things on this channel, as well as some random vlogs. So if you're interested in that content or you like what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button and hit the bell notification symbol for up-to-date videos when I release them. Other than that, let's check out this awesome knife. So this is the Boker Plus Kihon. It is a Lucas Burnley design, and it is a push button auto, and it's a very sleek, cool, rad knife. Now, if you're not familiar with Boker Plus or the brand Boker, it's a German knife company. It's been around for like over 100 years, I believe. And yeah, they make some awesome knives in a multitude of ranges. Basically, their Boker Plus brand or tier of their company kind of makes the middle of the road type knives. They're really good quality for a pretty fair price, and they got a lot of really cool, unique designs. And one of them, which I don't have, is the Kalishnikov, and that kind of is what put Boker Plus on the map for a lot of people who are interested in push button autos. And basically, the Kalishnikov has to be, in my opinion, probably the number one sold push button auto in the world. Of course, I don't have data on that, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, they're awesome, and it's very affordable for a push button auto, under 50 bucks. So that being said, I picked up this knife because I am a fan of the Kalishnikov. I have owned a couple. I currently don't own one, but I saw this and I thought this looked unique and different. And this is a Boker Plus push button auto, and it's from Blade HQ. It's a Blade HQ exclusive. So the designer, Lucas Burnley, he's done the Squid. He's done a couple of other like Japanese inspired knives. Decided to design this kind of tactical, slicey push button auto for Boker Plus. And as far as I know, it's a Blade HQ exclusive. So as always, we're going to talk about the blade, the handle, and the function. But let's hear about some specs. The blade length is 3 1/4 inches. The blade width is 1.125 inches from cutting edge to spine, and the blade thickness is 0.12. The overall handle length is 4.5 inches. The handle width is 1.125 inches thick, and the handle thickness is 1/2 inch thick. The overall weight on this knife is just 3 1/4 ounces, so pretty good there. And the blade steel is D2. See that? So anyways, going into the blade, this definitely has a kind of Japanese style sweeping blade. Kind of reminds me of a kitchen knife, as well as a little bit of a roach belly. You know, there's a lot going on with this shape. Very interesting. And there's a couple different level changes. So up here where there's the stock of the knife, where my pointer finger is, it drops, and then it goes into basically a drop point, a continuous drop point. But this knife is unique because it does have that long kind of upsweep curve to it, and that's part of the reason why I bought this knife. It had a very unique blade shape, and I thought it looked pretty rad, and it is rad. There is a tiny bit of a swedge up top here, very minute, just helps it be a little bit more slicey, I guess. It doesn't really seem very cosmetic as far as like adding any sort of look to it, but it is there. I mean, you can notice it, but it does come to a very fine point. It's a flat ground saber grind blade and plain edge all the way. I will say, after using it, just cutting some stuff, this is super slicey, and it just makes you want to like cut vegetables for some reason. Like I said, it's more of a kitchen knife design. So there is jimping on the spine. Just adds enough texture to get some grip on the thumb there. So it's a nice smooth stonewash, done really well. Boker Plus fit and finish on these push button autos are just awesome. So really good. Moving to the handle. The handle basically is like, as far as materials wise, it feels really similar to a Kalashnikov. We have a different grip pattern and different ergos. There's this kind of milled out spot up here just for cosmetic looks, and then we do have the push button auto there for deployment, and it has some knurling on there, so you get a decent little grip on there. The pivot and all the other hardware are silver, or like stonewash gray silver, and it is a aluminum handle, black, and there are some kind of textured grip inlays that are molded into the handle. I do like this really chunky back spacer or barrel spacer, and it is a flow-through construction all the way through, so it's pretty nice and clean. You just have the pivot pin, the stop bar, the plunge lock, and then that back barrel spacer as far as holding this knife together. So pretty cool. It also keeps it a little lighter too. So we do have a deep carry wire pocket clip, which I'm a fan of. Another kind of win for this knife is the pocket clip. It doesn't go all the way to the end, but it is a fold over deep carry, and the hardware, the screw for it, is pretty recessed, so it makes it easy to really slip in and out of pocket. There is a lanyard hole in there, so if you want to put a lanyard on it, you can. Other than that, like, the action on this knife, just like any other, super legit, snappy, and I just dig it. Honestly, one of the cooler push button autos. I don't think a lot of people know about this one, or at least I haven't seen much of it compared to like the Kalashnikov, but everybody's seen the Kalashnikov. So comparing it to a knife or two, we have a full-size bug out compared to the Kalashnikov, or to the Kihon. So pretty comparable in size, not in weight. I also have a Kershaw Knockout. Blade length-wise, pretty similar. Obviously, the blade width on the Knockout is bigger, but overall cutting edge seems pretty similar. So other than that, we're gonna do the Ugly Brown glove test. This just tests whether or not the grip is okay on this. Right now, in the Ugly Brown cloth glove, I do feel the texture, but it doesn't add too much grip per se, but it does add enough, I guess. You definitely feel it. The jimping on top of the knife feels pretty good, and then the knurling on the actual plunge lock button there feels good as well. The button doesn't stick out as much, so it's actually pretty kind of flush almost. So you do have to push in a little deeper, I'd feel, or at least have a good angle on the button to deploy it. But it is there. Can't really do it one-handed with the glove. There we go. There, did it one-handed. And it just snaps out. In hand, pulling it out doesn't have any real good grip. Trying to slide down by pushing down this way, you have that finger guard there, and then the jimping on the blade actually locks the thumb in pretty well. It's pretty good. You really have to squeeze it though. If I have a light grip, it slides right out. But other than that, like, really dig this knife. Does it pass? You know, it's not necessarily a fair test because this basically is a two-hand close button or knife. But I was able to deploy it, so, you know, for being a push button auto, I'd say yes, it passes. We'll say a C. So, passes the ugly brown glove test with a C. Alright, left hand open, let's see. Whoa. So, these things fire out. Never had a Boker Plus push button auto. They snap. Other than that, who do I think this is for? This is for anyone who's a fan of the Kalashnikov or any of the other Boker Plus push button autos, or push button autos in general, and for someone who wants to try to get into push button autos, starting with Boker Plus the Kihon or the Kalashnikov or that other warrior one, I forgot what it's called. You know, you might dig those. Those are all under $50. You can find them for under $50. So a good place to start if you're getting into push button autos. As far as color combinations, this comes in an all blacked out version where the hardware and everything is blacked out. We have this version with the satin blade, the stonewash blade, and then there's also the Blade HQ Desert Warrior motif where it's like OD green with a copper blade or bronze. Yeah, I think it's copper. So a couple of different options, and super cool. And I think they even have like a manual flipper version of this as well. It might be sold out, but there you have it. Blade HQ exclusives. I'll leave links in the description below. Make sure you check out those links. And I'll link to some of the other variations or other Boker Plus autos. And other than that, leave your comments and thoughts down below. Thank you all. Peace. And I'll see you outside.